Today I'm going to talk to you about why many of our buyers make Pacific Heights their do or die neighborhood, meaning they don't want to live anywhere else. And I'm going to tell you some of the top reasons why. And I'm going to start with the view, which I have behind me, and I'm going to combine it with two of the things that make Pacific Heights special. One being really good access to outdoor space. Normally when people think about outdoor space, they might think about green space, and there is some green space around me. But really, what I'm focusing on here is just being on these stairs. And so these stairs actually lead all the way down there. And if you keep walking, you can hit Crissy Field, which runs right into the bay. And so this is a great way to get a very scenic workout where you can walk up and down as many times as you can handle it, these stairs, and I'm telling you, it'll give you a really, really great workout. We have a more traditional green space right to the right of me. That's the Presidio, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But before I do that, I am going to walk you down one of the most, if I don't die first, I'm going to walk you down one of the most famous streets over in Pacific Heights. This is Broadway. So this section of Broadway, some people refer to it as Gold Coast. More recently, people refer to it as Billionaire's Row. There's actually quite a few known billionaires that live on the street. You've got Larry Ellison, you've got David Sachs, you've got Lorraine Powell Jobs, just to name a few. But there's a lot of old money here. So the Gettys had been here for a very, very long time. If you don't know who they are, they're responsible for some fun things like San Francisco Symphony, the San Francisco Opera. They put a lot of money into philanthropy to make the city what it is today. So if you look at some of these homes, I mean, I think this is what people think about Pacific Heights. I'll tell you, there's only a few small stretches that look quite like this. So I'm going to show you where maybe some more of the everyday people live as well. The homes along this stretch, they're going to range anywhere from about $15 to about $40 million. And you can't really experience that much from outside, but we're up on the top of a hill here. And as you can imagine, when you look at that home, you're gonna have full views of the bay, the bridge, Alcatraz, the whole works from that home. So one thing to note about Pacific Heights in general is right now, we're on a street that runs east to west, right? With the bay being on our north. So the homes that have the biggest views, this was last year's Decorator Showcase house here to the left. I believe it's still on the market, but the homes that are on this side of the street, they're gonna have really great views. Now, on this particular street on Broadway, a lot of the homes on the right-hand side are also set so far up the hill, they just pass, the bottom floor just passes right over the top floor of the other side. But on most of the streets in Pacific Heights, that's not the case. In most of the streets in Pacific Heights, the houses are actually set on the same level. So when you go onto the south side of the street, you're gonna lose your view from the bottom levels, and generally you're only gonna get it from the top levels. So that's one thing to consider. There's gonna be some different compromises that I'm gonna go over with you that you're gonna wanna think through today. And if videos like this are interesting, I'm Ruth Krishnan. We've represented over 1,000 buyers, over $1 billion of real estate, and we're gonna bring you a video every Monday at 5 p.m. Be sure to tune back in. This is one of my favorite streets, and when I talk about views, the other thing about Pacific Heights is it's not just those views that we saw. Honestly, not just the street, but a lot of the streets, all of the architecture is very, very pretty. So just walking around the neighborhood feels like a treat. I mean, it's just eye candy everywhere. And maybe I'm just a nerd because I love architecture and I love houses, but I find walking around this neighborhood very inspiring, and it's very, very beautiful, regardless of if I'm on this block or another block, which I'll walk you through some other ones that are gonna be different price points. So now that you got to see the most expensive homes, the outsides of them in the city, let's go over and show you one of the parks. So as we're walking to the park, I'll share with you a few more things. So right now we're on Broadway, which is at the top of the hill. One of the downsides to being up here is that it's not super walkable. I think people who live up here, they actually like the exclusivity of, they probably have drivers. Maybe they don't want to walk down to Fillmore Street, but a lot of people really value walkability. So from up here, it's pretty hilly to get down to either of the sections. So there's two sections of walkability that are sometimes accessible from Pacific Heights. One is down here and it's on Union Street, which is not Pacific Heights, it's actually Cow Hollow. And then the other one is back behind me on Fillmore, which I'm gonna walk over and show you in a minute. We'll jump in the car and I'll drive you later because I'm gonna take you to some outdoor spaces that aren't exactly part of this neighborhood. But I think when you're living on the north side of the city, a lot of times it's the access that you have, not just within your one neighborhood, but you have access to, whatever's in close proximity. So I wanna just show you a little bit of the lifestyle of some things that people are doing on the weekends and where they're walking to, maybe during the week as well. So I feel like Pacific Heights is a really active neighborhood. As we're out and about today, I'm sure you'll definitely see people as we walk back by the Lion Street steps, running up and down them. And then we'll head over to Christie Field in a little bit and you'll see the activity going on there. To me, it's just a little contagious and I love seeing people working out. It's very inspiring, but also a lot of people who like to work out want to be near spaces that they can work out really easily. The Presidio is one of those spaces that you can go for a run, go for a bike ride. I want to say it's 1,500 square feet of park space. So if you look on the map and you look up the Lion Street steps, you're going to see the Presidio runs from here all the way down to the bay and then all the way over to Ocean Beach. So it's a huge, huge stretch of land and it encompasses a golf course that I don't play golf, but I have friends who do and they say it's very, very beautiful. There's some camping grounds. My son actually, kind of hilarious, what a city boy experience, but his school, every year they go and they camp out in the Presidio for the weekend. So they have like a going away camp out trip. It's pretty cute, but you're right in the middle of San Francisco. All right, so we're entering in the Presidio. This is the Lion Street steps right behind me. So I'm gonna be super honest, I have not entered from this gate before, so I might get a little lost, which you guys have seen before, but I'm looking for this Lover's Lane area. And I had photos done with my family there many years ago. I was just joking with Landry because I was like, it's supposed to be kind of romantic, like eucalyptus trees. I don't know, are eucalyptus trees romantic? I guess I am really weird. But they just frame. I think anytime trees frame a street, I don't know if romantic is the right word, but you've got the bay here in the background. So you can take this all the way down to Land's End. I mean, that's pretty cool. So Land's End, if you don't know, you probably do. But I think it's the best trail in San Francisco and it runs along the bluffs of the Pacific Ocean. And it's just, oh my God, it's so, 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 so stunning. So you have like Land's End and then Sea Cliffs, so it's behind it. But the Presidio, like I said, it goes all the way there to Pacific Ocean. So you've got all these trails, Mountain Lake Trail, I think it is. It runs all the way back behind the Lake Street corridor. And then you have that Mountain Lake Park. This is it. This is Lover's Lane. Yes. I totally had family photos here one time. And it was really windy and I did not look good because I had to put my hair back after I took all my time to curl it and everything. All right, let's take a look around here because it's very pretty, right? So to have all these different trails, you're in the middle of the city. I mean, this is honestly one of the things that makes San Francisco so special is so much outdoor space, so much access to it, but then to be, right there is a massive neighborhood, but then you're here and you just have no sense for being in the middle of a city. So I love that, don't I? It's just really, really special. I want to show you what the walk is like down to the commercial corridor. Because as I mentioned, I think most people who value walkability don't live up here. So I want to show you what it's like to walk down there. And then we're going to get to the streets where you can get a little bit better price. Okay, we are going to make our way over to Fillmore. And this is Lion Street right behind me. And that is the dividing line between Presidio Heights and Pacific Heights. And, you know, obviously there's a lot that both neighborhoods have to offer. So if you're living in Pacific Heights and you want to take advantage of some of the things that Presidio Heights has to offer, like there's a restaurant called Spruce that's really good. They used to have a Michelin star, but I think they lost it. But they have a great theater, Vogue Theater. And then on Sacramento Street, there's a restaurant that does still have a Michelin star called Sorrel. And it has a really nice prefixed menu. It's actually pretty, I mean, as far as San Francisco prefixed menus go, it's pretty affordable and really tasty. And Spruce, Michelin star or not, it's a city favorite. Like it's fantastic. So this is the very top, we're on top of Broadway right now when we're walking on Pacific. And so we're kind of heading onto the other side of the hill, right? So as we go to the other side of the hill, we're gonna lose some of the views that this side of the hill offers. Now, if you wanna be on this side of the hill, then you're gonna see that getting down to Fillmore is, we're gonna do it together. And I can do it, so anyone. But it just may not be what you wanna do. Like if you want to walk out of your door and grab a cup of coffee and meet your friends for dinner or something like that, then you might want to be in a different location. And as you keep heading in this direction, which is east, you're going to start to notice like already feel that the houses have kind of come down a little bit. You can even see that there's some apartment complexes that are mixed in with the houses, which was not true on the few blocks behind me. So just a little bit more of a mix that's happening. And then, although this is a very big house right here, so just a little bit more of an eclectic mix of sizes of homes and also types of homes. And actually, I think that's one of the best parts about Pacific Heights is that there's a wide variety of price points here. So though it is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in San Francisco, it doesn't mean that it keeps everybody out because you can buy a really nice condo. I know it's not a house. Part of the problem is that many of the houses are really big here. The average size home in Pacific Heights is 4,700 square feet, which I think is a really, really big house. So that's gonna make the average price point, well, I think the median price point is $6 million. So that takes up the price that's out of reach for some, for many, but you can get a condo as low as $1 million right in the neighborhood. It's probably not gonna be next to the $40 million house, but those condos back there are across the street from an $18 million house. It's like a nice mix. I think that's really valuable to have, you know, all different kinds of people. We see a lot of people that are in their 50s and 60s that return to San Francisco, and a lot of times they return or want to be in this neighborhood. Again, this is so pretty. I just love, 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 love this neighborhood. I think for them, once you've made it in life, it is a neighborhood that if you travel anywhere in the world and somebody knows San Francisco, then they're gonna know Pacific Heights. So as you can see, the topography is a little bit hilly. It's not too bad, I don't think. And we are going to take a ride up here. I wanna show you one of the other parks. So there's a couple of really well-known parks in Pacific Heights. You have Lafayette Park and then Alta Vista Park as well. We're gonna stop by and see Alta Vista Park on our way to Fillmore Street. Okay, so I think I started talking to you guys about the weather and I got distracted, which you know I do sometimes. You notice I put my hair back. Last time I was filming over here, I had to put my hair back. It does get windy here a fair amount. So I guess the lesson is don't fix your hair. Like, why bother? I mean, it is really good solid weather, but I feel like the wind is happening quite a bit, but I'm actually kind of hot right now and I just have like a really light duster on, but of course I'm working hard for you. So it's making me a little bit sweaty. I'd say it's a 7 out of 10 in terms of weather. It's good weather. It's not the best weather in the city, but let's talk about what else you need to know about living in the neighborhood. So how's transit? I think that's pretty important to people. So if you're living here and you're working downtown, there's still a lot of remote working going on, but it's a lot of mixing. So you're probably gonna take the California, that's the 1, if you don't want to drive, which I personally hate driving downtown. So you can take that bus. There's several buses that run through the neighborhood. You also have the 22. My son actually takes that from the central part of San Francisco to get up to school up here. All right, so we've actually already arrived at the park. So this is Jackson Street. So that's Town is a school for boys. It's a private school right there. This would be one of the streets that you would want to look at if you want to be on a flat area that's really close to the Fillmore. But let's stop into the park. So I would say all the streets that are kind of surrounding this park are pretty good because this is about right where it gets flat. So you've got Jackson, Washington, and then Clay down below. So this is one of two parks that are in pretty close proximity to each other. And honestly, I think they're fairly similar. This one, I think, has better views. I would say Lafayette Park has I don't know, maybe a little bit more shade, but there's tons of trees here. So I think it's kind of whichever one is closest to you is where you're gonna go. But they have pickleball, basketball, tennis. There's a kid's playground. You can have your dogs out here. So you'll always see a ton of people out here. I mean, right now it's Thursday at 3. So this will be much, much, much busier on a weekend. I think the playground, I'm trying to remember, my kids are old now, right? They're 16 and 13. So they don't play on these playgrounds anymore. I'm trying to remember, I think they like Lafayette Park. Their little playground area a little bit better. I think it might have been developed a little sooner, more recently. If I'm remembering correctly. Those years were a bit of a blur, I have to say. But yeah, you've got these great views all the way around. So really pretty. So again, as far as quality of life goes, being able to walk to a restaurant, walk to a playground, walk to play tennis, it's a really, really great neighborhood. But let's walk over and see what exactly Fillmore has to offer. So I mentioned to you there's kind of multiple streets that you have access to depending on where you live in Pacific Heights. So the Fillmore is the one that is really the neighborhood street. And I would say it's one of the best walkable streets in the whole city. Okay, so we're down from the park, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about the different streets, right? So the main street, right now, this is Clay, by the way. So it's a slow street right on the park. This is gonna be highly sought after street. Not only because it's slow, but you don't have any houses across from you. That's amazing. And then also you're 2 blocks from Fillmore Street. So the street that everybody thinks about for Pacific Heights is Fillmore. It is a phenomenal street. We're gonna go see it. But when you're on that side, if you're on Broadway, I just sold a house to somebody on Broadway, and the street that they walk to is Union because they don't wanna pass over the top. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, they're on Vallejo. So it's one down, and then walking from Vallejo up to Broadway, that's a big walk. So it's kind of if you get to the other side of Broadway, you're probably going to want to use Union as your street versus coming up here to the Fillmore. And they're both great. I would say Union, all of them have really great restaurants and stuff. Union has a bit more of a scene for nightlife, if that's your thing. It has more of a vibe. Obviously have access to either one here, but this one, if you're over here, is going to be easier to walk to. So there's a lot of nuances to these neighborhoods in terms of understanding the block by block. And so if you're having difficulty following my rambling, just reach out. We'd be happy to help demystify this for you. Believe it or not, the reason why we make these videos is so you call us. So don't be shy. Okay, so we are almost there, and I'm gonna just walk you through and I wanna show you what the street looks like, what it feels like, and then I'll point out some favorite restaurants. One of my favorite restaurants that we're not gonna walk all the way down to because it's on the other side of Fillmore is State Bird. I think it's State Bird Provision, and I think that has a Michelin star as well. It is so good, but it's on the other side of Darien. But the other thing that's down there is the Fillmore, which I feel like everyone who's ever listened to any sort of music has heard of. And so they bring in bands, also the Boom Boom Room, which we know Landu likes to go party at the Boom Boom Room. But still open after 20 years, you gotta go back. I had some good times at the Boom Boom Room. So has anyone been lately? Let me know, I'm curious. Should I go back? This is the Snug. So this is a great place to grab a drink with friends. Very popular place. Lots of my friends from school meet there for little parent outings and stuff. So this side, on the other side, you have the hospital up there. It feels a little bit more, it's just like less neighborhoody when you have like a big hospital and a big parking garage like up around those streets. So I think a lot of times when people are looking at the walkable streets close by, they'd prefer to be on this side in terms of like this section right here. Veronica Beard, love, love, love. And then Paige. So there's lots of pretty high-end shopping here. Lots of boutiques, many places that you've heard of, but many places that are more like smaller, like this person, Rachel Comey. I don't personally know her, but I'm sure she's fabulous. Joe and the Juice, I love. It's a chain, as I'm sure you guys know. I think it's Scandinavian, right? And then Salt and Straw. You cannot walk by this without feeling like you need to stop for some ice cream because they really, really good ice cream, and they make their own waffle cones. So it's just always smelling so good. So there's a few grocery stores in the neighborhood. Up here on California Street, there's a Molly Stone's, which, you know, is a pricier grocery store. And not very far away, there's also a Whole Foods as well. So you have those two places. And then kind of on the other side of Van Ness, there's a Trader Joe's over there as well. If you ever want to buy like a really fun gift, I love Jonathan Adler. They have some really, really great stuff in there. Fun games, like really beautiful and silly at the same time. Kitchenware, if you've been in there, you know what I'm talking about. This place here, Jane, super popular breakfast, brunch, coffee shop. So you kind of get the idea, you guys. There's a little bit of everything. I think the nice thing is tons of good food. We're coming up on California right now, so I think this is where it is. Delfina is right down there, which I love. Yep, Delfina, Johnny's Pizza. You've got Rag and Bone across the street. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna walk down. Let's walk down another block. I wanna show you Taylor and Sons. This place is really popular. Great. I think it's like Californian, Italian, good drinks. And so I wanna take you somewhere that, you know, you don't have the energy to have me walk to. There's a new park that was opened in 2022. It's called Tunnel Tops. And they basically built this park right on top of the freeway overpass. So it's more, I guess, it's in the Presidio, basically. And I guess that would be probably considered the marina. Harry's Bar is a bar. There's lots of bars here, too. That's been there forever. Crescent Moon, this is my facial lady, Carol. She's amazing. If you ever need a good facial, go see her. She's the best esthetician in San Francisco, by far. And then Little Shuckers on the other side of the street. That just opened a few years ago, and it's really good. It used to be the Grove. It's got some great oysters, great drinks. Okay, so we're gonna jump in the car, and then I'm gonna take you on a ride, so let's do that. Okay, so I wanna take you for a little ride, and I wanna show you, so I told you in the beginning that I wanted to show you how you could get some deals in the neighborhood. So, you know, I mean, buying a condo probably doesn't really feel like a way to get a deal per se, but it is a way to get in at a lower price point. However, there's a couple of really busy streets in the area. So up in front of me is Pine. That's one. Bush that we're going to go on right now is, you know, you can see this, right? It's very busy. So you have Pine, Bush, California, all busy streets. And then you have Goff and Franklin. So the busier street, the better the discount. And so if you can stomach living on a street that's this busy, which, you know, I mean, a lot of times the bedrooms will be at the back. There's some particularly nice, I mean, honestly, on all of these streets, they're nice. I would say when I talk to clients sometimes about busyness, there are people who are just will say, no matter what, I would never live on a street this busy. And then there's some buyers who feel like they would never live on a street as busy as Gough or Franklin, which I'm also going to take you down just so you can kind of experience. If you look at a map, then Franklin and Gough are all the way at the Van Ness side of the neighborhood. And I do have Pacific Heights clients that really want to be more concentrated closer to the Fillmore side. So I do notice that the price point tends to go down because I have some of my Pacific Heights clients, for whatever reason, it's just too far, it doesn't feel the same. They just don't want to be over on that side at all. So anyway, again, I can help you guys think through these nuances, but I want to show you a little bit as well while I've got you, if you're still here. And if you're still here, you should definitely subscribe because you've been here for a while. So Gough is like an artery that runs. I'd say there's a couple of arteries on this side of the city that run, and Gough runs south and Franklin runs north. And then you have Van Ness that runs south and north. That's after Franklin. And all of those streets are really, really busy. Now, there's different kinds of condos in Pacific Heights. Like a lot of the condos, I'll actually point to one at the end of the video. A lot of the condos in the neighborhood are really old world style, classic details, high ceilings, coved ceilings, really nice scale, as opposed to like this building that's right up in front of me, which I think is the Rockwell. And that's going to be like a newer condo development. So a lot of the newer condo developments, they're going to be closer. Most of them are right along the Van Ness corridor. And that's where you're going to have amenities like gyms. They're going to have been built in a lot of them, not all of them, but many of them have been built in like the last 10 years, elevator buildings, sometimes 100+ units in those buildings. And that's just a different feel. Usually the clients that I have that want to live in a building like that, they're not looking to live in an old school Victorian. So this is Franklin, and I'm going to take it down so that I can show you what it looks like down on Chestnut Street. And then we're going to head over and see the park. Actually, Nicolas Cage had a house, and he doesn't own it anymore, but it was on the market a few years back. I think it had been on the market a couple of years ago. I think it was on the market originally when it was still his home, and I think when it most recently sold, it had been through a few other owners. But there are actually some big homes that sell right on this street, and you're gonna get a huge discount for being on a street. Not only a street this busy, but also, like I said, it's a little far from the part of Pacific Heights that everybody wants to be in, for lack of a better way to describe it. I mean, obviously there's just nothing wrong with it at all. It's just that the walkable corridor is a little farther away and it's busier here. Okay, so we are now, basically we are in the marina. This is on Chestnut Street. And you can see there's a ton, it's really cute down here. There's a ton of restaurants, ton of shopping. There's also Union Street. We are on the north side of Lombard Street right now. So this would be a little bit more of a walk from Pacific Heights. But I do think if you live in Pacific Heights, you are definitely frequenting the marina as well, to change it up, to get a little bit more access to more restaurants, more shopping, more bars. And so I thought it was important to kind of show you this because I'm also taking you, and here it's not just one street down here. All of the side streets actually are pretty happening with a lot of restaurants as well. So, I feel like sometimes you can just stumble around down here into a great restaurant or a great bar. There's just always something new to discover. It feels really good, really fun. There's Little Joe's everywhere now. I feel like, what do they have now? 4 restaurants in the city? It's so many. You've got another little theater here that's still happening. There's not that many theaters left in the city, unfortunately, which is kind of sad. So as we're headed in front of us, you've got the Presidio right up in front of us, and we're going to head in there. Another place that you will definitely find yourself on the weekends, we're down in the marina. This is the newly developed Tunnel Tops, which is in the Presidio. And on the weekends, you'll see that there'll be food trucks lined up all along here. And then back behind me, even today, there's kids back there playing soccer. There'll just be tons of people all over these lawns. And I love that they've installed these very cool chairs that look kind of like art. People use them to like exercise on. They're just very like multi-purposed. And then as we walk in this direction, it's a really, really cool park with some walking trails. We're gonna get to see the bridge. We're gonna get to see the bay. It's just so nice to be outside. So this was a former military base, and they've turned a lot of the old buildings into various offices and stuff. The Walt Disney Museum is here. There's actually a bowling alley at the top of this grassy field behind me as well. That's pretty fun. Back over here, that's for those of you who have kids that are starting to look at high schools. That's Bay School, which is a private high school. Pretty cool high school to be able to look out onto all of this every day, right? Anyway, this is a little quiet on a weekday. On a weekend, this is just packed with kids and, all different kinds of people. You can bring your own picnics here. I've seen people having like little birthday parties where they bring in their own food. But there's a restaurant over here as well, the Picnic Pavilion, where they have, drinks you can grab. You can grab your, you don't have to bring your own lunch. I prefer to pick up something while I'm there. So that's awesome. And then there's a playground down here, which we can take a look at for the kiddos to play. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. And, I love the idea of just being able to take advantage of the natural landscape, but also, it's just beautiful. I think this is super, super cool. I had stopped by here because my son was at the rock climbing gym. So there's a rock climbing gym right over here. There's also, I want to call it a jumpy house, but there's this like indoor trampoline, Landry for the win. I was like, charades, those jumpy things. Yeah, it's like a trampoline park. So there's a lot of stuff over here to do. But I just wanted to kind of show you, because I feel like this is one of the things that I started off the video by saying, is that just there's a lot of access to living outdoors and being active. And, whether you're with your dog or your kid or your partner or by yourself, there's just a million places to be, to enjoy the city and the weather and just being active, which I absolutely love. Let's make sure, I think we talked about prices a little bit, started talking to you about single family home prices. I don't think we quite got to condo prices. So a good budget for a condo, the median price condo in Pacific Heights is $2 million. And I'd say a good budget is that's for a 3-bedroom. A good budget is gonna be like 2.2 to 2.5 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. You can obviously spend a lot more than that. The most expensive condo that sold in Pacific Heights last year was $10 million. And I actually did a video with you guys on that. It was on Green Street, and it was a converted auto garage, which I just love when they do that. But so it's not that all condos in Pacific Heights are inexpensive, because $10 million is a lot. But if you remember that condo, it was pretty cool with really, really great views, and it was really, really large. It was like 3,300 square feet, I believe. So we've made it to the base, and as you can see, there's a park here, and then you just cross right over and you're on Chrissy Field. And this is just so cool how the slide, it's just, I don't know, I'm a fan of, I think it was Mickey Muning who did Post Ranch Inn, which is one of my favorite places. But the architecture that blends in with the landscape, it's very, very cool. I forget the name of that architecture, but I love it. So we could just cross right over here and be, on the trail to go over to the bridge. So there's just so much to see and do. So we're gonna cross over, because while we're here, we might as well go all the way down. And we are definitely not in Pacific Heights anymore. We are clearly in the marina, but it's so close, right? I know we drove here, but honestly, I've walked down the Lion Street steps where we started and come straight down here many, many times, and it's like a 20-minute walk. So, you know, there's places, if you're visiting town and you want to rent a bike, you can actually go all the way across the bridge on your bike. And as you can see, there's just a ton of people, even in the middle of the day out here, exercising and enjoying the weather. I mean, one thing about a little bit chilly, cool weather is that you never get sweaty when you exercise. It is a little chilly right now. So we just continued to walk down from Tunnel Tops and we landed right on this beautiful beach. So this is the bay, right? And you've got people out here kite surfing. It's a pretty windy day. There's actually less kite surfers than I would expect to see. Lots of people just walking on the beach, enjoying the weather. There's trails that run all the way down to Fort Mason and then come all the way back up here and all the way to the bridge. So you can, I mean, it's kind of like you can just meander all over the city, right? Like we started off on the trails in the Presidio. You could totally just this is like your own playground, right? So I just feel like this side of the city is really, really beautiful to have, you know, in city living, but just a lot of opportunities for getting out and enjoying all of the landscape and all of the natural beauty that San Francisco has to offer. If you want to jump in to one of the condos that I mentioned, we did this video right here, and I did a walkthrough of I think that one sold for $2.3 million. So that'll show you like what a traditional condo in Pacific Heights will sell for. And if you like videos like this, feel free to come back every Monday at 5 p.m. or just reach out. We'd love to chat with you.